Fun fact about Fasa. Me like explosions. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Fasa the Silver Chimera, and I've returned with another Destiny 2 build. In this episode, we are on Titan, and boy, am I happy to be back on my main class. For our exotic weapon, we're using the good old Sunshot. It comes with the intrinsic Sunburn. This weapon fires explosive rounds and highlights targets that take damage from Sunshot. Super simple, right? The third column perk is called Sun Blast. Targets killed with Sunshot explode into solar energy. You gotta love the original exotics from D2 Vanilla, right? They were so simple back then. By the way, this gun also applies Scorch with the explosion, so that will come in handy. Moving on to the armor, we're using the exotic chest piece Severance Enclosure. It comes with the perk Sephirotic Trigger. Oh my, by Odin's beard, who named this, a warlock? Powered melee final blows unleash a damaging explosion. Finishers and final blows against more powerful targets increase the radius and damage of the explosion. I love this exotic, and it recently got buffed, so now if you kill anything with the explosion, it makes another explosion. And like I said, daddy like exploding, especially if I get to do it twice in a row, if you know what I mean. Moving on to the subclass, we're on Solar, and we're going to need Throwing Hammer, and I recommend a Healing Grenade for harder content, but it's up to you, sweet cheeks. Do whatever makes you feel comfortable. For our aspects, we're using Roaring Flames. Final blows with solar abilities or ignitions increase the damage of your solar abilities. Stacks 3 times. So this aspect is a must-have. Not only does it pump up the damage, which is always good, but it also makes your unpowered melees count as a powered melee, meaning that if you kill something with just a normal punch, you get explosions. And it's absolutely splendid, if I do say so myself. The other aspect is up to you. You can go with Soul Invictus, Solar Ability Final Blows, Hammer of Soul Impacts, and defeating scorched targets creates sunspots. Your abilities recharge faster, and your super drains more slowly while standing in a sunspot. Sunspots apply Scorch, deal damage to targets inside. Entering a sunspot applies Restoration. This aspect does like a million things, and all of them are useful. You get energy, healing, and burnt bodies everywhere. Stop here. But you can also use Consecration. While sliding, activate your charge ability to launch a wave of solar energy forward, damaging and scorching targets in front of you as you leap into the air. While airborne, activate your charge melee again to slam to the ground and create a second larger wave of damaging solar energy. If the wave hits a scorched target, they ignite. I love this aspect. It's super fun and it's super satisfying. So if you ever want to have it just a bit more fun, try this aspect. Fun fact, it also procs the explosion from Severance Enclosure. So you get ignitions and explosions at the same time. Next up, we got Fragments, and we're starting with Ember of Torches. Powered melee attacks against combatants make you and nearby allies radiant. It also is -10 for discipline. Gross. So this fragment gives us more ways to be radiant, and that's good because radiant gives us a lot of benefits. Next is Ember of Empyrean. Solar weapons or ability final blows extend the duration of restoration and radiant effects applied to you. And it's also -10 to resilience. Double gross. Anyway, we want radiant as much as possible, and with the Healing Grenade or the Sunspots giving us restoration, that helps keep it going for longer. Next is Ember of Char. Your solar ignition spreads scorch to affected targets. And it's +10 to our discipline stat. Yay! We're going to be making a fair amount of ignitions, which is fun. But the key to this fragment is the fact that we're spreading Scorch. The Scorch verb is very important to this build because of the final aspect. Ember of Searing. Defeating scorched targets grants melee energy and creates a fire sprite. And it also gives us +10 to recovery. Yay? More energy is a plus, especially with Consecration. This lets us do even more explosive slams, so do I need to say more? And also, the fire sprites are nice because they give more grenade energy, so that's a plus. Moving over to the season artifact, we want almost all of the solar mods. Kindling Trigger. Radiant causes solar weapons to apply Scorch to unscorched targets. This works with Sunshot, allowing it to scorch something on the first shot, which will give us melee energy on kill. Then that kill will scorch everything around it with the explosion, and you get it, right? Blah, 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 Naze Quenya Circle of Life. Moving on. Next mod is Flint Striker. Rapid solar weapon precision hits and rapid solar weapon final blows grant Radiant. This lets us proc Radiant from a distance if we have to, and lets us maintain Radiant for longer, because Sunshot melts shit. Trust me. Finally, for the must-have mods, is Rays of Precision. While Radiant, solar precision final blows cause combatants to ignite. So this lets Sunshot become an absolute monster. Headshots start clearing rooms now, and then the explosions spread Scorch, and your punches spread Scorch, and melee kills cause explosions, and there's ignitions happening all over the place. It's essentially a cavalcade of destruction and fire. which is also probably the name of my sex tape. Moving on. Some of the other mods that'll help out or just add some fun are Revitalizing Blast, weaken bosses and champions, just chuck your hammer, and now they take 15% more damage. If you're using strand or stasis weapons, also you can use Dragon's Bite or Torch. You know, mix it up. Have fun with it. Variety is the spice of life after all. Moving over to the armor mods. On the head, you're going to want Siphon mods. That way Sunshot can generate orbs like a Catholic rabbit. On the arms, you want Heavy-Handed for more orbs. If you're running Consecration, maybe consider using Melee Kickstart so you can have it more often. You can also use Momentum Transfer and Impact Induction for more energy. On the chest, Charged Up for more stacks. On the legs, throw on some Solar Surges to power up your Sunshot and any other solar weapons you might be using. If you're using Consecration and the Melee Kickstart, consider using Stacks on Stacks or Elemental Charge since we're making a lot of fire sprites. You can also use the ability generation mods too. Finally, on the class item, you can throw on Time Dilation, Distribution, Outreach. If you're using Consecration, maybe Powerful Attraction to pick up orbs, Reaper to make more orbs. Again, this part is more up to you. Feel free to move things around, and honestly, tell me what you use in the comment section below. But now I gotta talk about the most important part of any Destiny build. The fashion. Here's the outfit I made, and I love how it came out. Severance has this very unfinished but operational look to it, you know, very nuts and bolts. So I used the Warmind's avatar set on the arms and legs, and they go with it perfectly, if you ask me. I used the Legacy Oath mark because it kind of felt in the same vein, especially with the belt and the design on the back. It flowed well with the outfit. And finally, I used the Moonfang X7 helm from the Prophecy Dungeon because it's one of my favorite helmets in the game. It looks super cool. I love how angular and sharp it is. And the horns kind of remind me of like Power Rangers or Gundam. Something in that vein. I used the refurbished Black Armory shader because it has that shiny gunmetal look and adds a little bit of fabric texture and a little bit of greenish yellow in places. I like it. But before I gotta go, I have to name the build, of course. And henceforth, this build shall be known as Burn Trigger. Oh, that hits the edgelord in me just right. I chose the name because the scorch you apply with your melee and sunshot is the trigger for a perpetual loop of explosions and ignition. And once you find that cycle, you'll be able to burn everything to the ground. So, I'm Fasa the Silver Chimera, and that's the build. Please tell me what you think. Tell me what you like about it. Tell me what you don't like about it. Do you like the name? Do you like the outfit? At the very least, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. If you want to be notified on future videos, please ring my bell. And don't forget to leave a comment. If you don't know what to say, how about burn? That feels appropriate. As always, thank you for watching, and thank you for sharing your time with me. It's an honor. I am Fasa the Silver Chimera, and I will see all of you beautiful monsters next time.